Last night, a prominent club in Atlanta saw a near-disruptive incident. Kirk Frost and Yung Joc had a tense fight with Lil Scrappy, which escalated from quiet tension to seriousness. The music was loud, and lights flashed everywhere, cutting through clouds of cologne and expensive perfume. People were dancing and drinking. Kirk Frost needed to cool down and get out of his chair. The atmosphere was electrifying and exemplified Atlanta's renowned club culture. Kirk and Jock showed up dressed sharp, wearing designer clothes and dripping in jewelry. They walked in like they owned the place, heads high, surrounded by their usual group. But something felt off. If you were watching closely, you'd notice Kirk's smile didn't seem real and Jock's laugh had an edge to it that made things feel uneasy. They sat in VIP, but their attention wasn't really on their drinks or the people around them. Their eyes kept drifting across the room. That's where Lil Scrappy was posted up, his usual confident self. He was holding court in his own VIP area, laughing, dancing, and keeping the mood light with his crew. People kept coming up to greet him, and he welcomed every one of them with that charm. Fans love him, for he looked totally at ease, like he didn't have a care in the world. But Kirk and Jock, they weren't just chilling. They kept glancing over at Scrappy, whispering to each other, watching. Even the waitress dropping off their drinks noticed something weird going on. She handed them the bottles and left quick, picking up on the tension in the air. Meanwhile, Scrappy made his way to the dance floor. He clinked glasses with fans, nodded at people he knew, and kept the same upbeat vibe going. If he was aware of the way Kirk and Jock were eyeing him, he didn't let it show. You see what I'm saying? Jock leaned over to Kirk, who nodded slowly and kept his gaze fixed on Scrappy. Despite appearing to be friends at events, there is a long history of tension between the three in the music and club scene. Scrappy is becoming more popular. His outspoken nature has gained him a devoted fan following, but it has also caused others to dislike him. Kirk and Jock moved through the packed dance floor towards Scrappy, causing everyone to feel a sense of impending doom. Scrappy was still in a good mood when he saw Kirk and Jock approaching. The music continued to blast, but the energy in that part of the club shifted quickly. Kirk came to a halt. The Jock stepped closer and said, "What's going on, fellas?" Scrappy questioned casually but alertly. His crew sensed the change as well, and a handful of them got up ready for whatever was going to happen. Kirk didn't immediately respond and glanced around. "You've been talking," he remarked bluntly, commencing the drama. "You know what I'm talking about." Scrappy tightened his grasp on his drink and said, "I don't know what you're talking about." But there was a crack in his voice indicating he wasn't as cool as he wanted to seem. He glanced at his crew, who were now on full alert, before returning to Kirk and Jock. "Oh, we got something to say," he barked. "And if you've got any sense, you'll shut up and listen." Scrappy remained calm and said, "Oh yeah, like what?" As he stepped forward, he fired his other hand, balling into a fist. People around them backed off, while others leaned in too nosily to look away. The mood in the club shifted, despite the loud music. "Look at me, let me go. Look at me. __. It up __. I was furious and irritated, but no one in the circle was paying heed. Their focus was on the three guys. Scrappy's crew appeared nervous, with some standing and others remaining near the booth. Jock pointed at Scrappy, saying, "You know exactly what this is about." And Kirk added, "You've been out here running your mouth telling lies. You really think you can talk trash and not answer for it?" Scrappy raised his chin and refused to back down. Kirk took a firm stance and said, "We have more than just words, Scrappy. We have proof." He instantly unlocked his phone and displayed the screen for everyone to see. Whatever was on it hit hard. Scrappy's jaw clenched, his confidence wavering for a single second. "So you're going to show me some messages out of context? That's your big move?" Scrappy responded calmly, but his voice shook slightly, which was noticeable. Jock approached Kirk shoulder to shoulder and forcefully said, "You've been playing both sides, telling us one thing and then saying something else to others. It's time to quit pretending before things grow worse." Scrappy's irritation bubbled over as he straightened his posture and glared them down. "You think you can come in here and press me like that? Who do you think you are?" he snapped. Kirk came into Scrappy's area, warning him to keep running his mouth and see what happens. Scrappy stayed firm despite his fear, saying, "You don't scare me," with a solid voice. Joc clenched his hands as everything froze and felt like it may burst at any minute. Kirk's glare was sharp, and Scrappy's crew moved in to back him up. The music in the club faded into the background, and everyone nearby held their breath waiting for the first punch. Then, a security guard stepped in and gently pushed Kirk back, saying, "All right, that's enough," and gently pushing him back. Kirk stared at Scrappy but didn't resist. Joc relaxed slightly, but his eyes remained alert. Scrappy took a slow breath and tried to calm down. The guard motioned toward Kirk and Joc's VIP booth and said, "I don't care who you are. This isn't the place for that." Firm and direct. Kirk nodded and slid his phone back into his pocket. "We'll finish this another time," he said quietly, then turned with Joc and walked back toward their section. Scrappy's voice was tense as he took a leisurely drink from his glass and went toward his table. "They're just all talk. They always have been." Still, as he sat down, a feeling crept in. This wasn't over. The air in the club felt heavy. Kirk and Joc weren't laughing or drinking anymore. They just sat there, eyes flicking over to Scrappy every now and then. Something had shifted. Scrappy tried to shake it off, but his people could tell it rattled him, not fear exactly. But he knew this wasn't finished. News spread fast. What started as a face-off became the main event of the night. People in the club started retelling the story with extra drama. One woman swore they were seconds away from throwing hands. A guy at the bar said Scrappy stood strong like a champ. Someone caught a blurry video from across the room and posted it. "Didn't show much. I have nobody. If y'all ain't with me, I don't have nobody. I'm with you." At all that talking, cause I need y'all to show me, cause for real, just Kirk and Joc facing off with Scrappy. But it was enough. Within minutes, social media blew up. Hashtags popped up like wildfire. Kirk via Scrappy we Joc got receipts. Club drama. Kirk became agitated as he scanned through the comments on popular postings. He told Joc that people were behaving as if we were the villains, implying that we instigated the situation. Joc shook his head. "People like the noise, but maybe it's time to tell them the truth." Kirk nodded and said, "We need to deal with this." Of the club, Scrappy tried to grin, but his eyes didn't match. "Yeah, maybe, but let's not pretend this is over," he murmured, looking back at Kirk and Joc. "You see them sitting there, they're not done at all." The night steadily dragged on, with the intensity never completely settling. Kirk and Joc rose to go. The club's atmosphere was tense, with no dramatic exits or final words. They walked out with a Scrappy walk and clenched jaws, as if they thought they could just walk out like that and come for me again. The chill in the air did not alleviate the tension. Kirk and Joc drove away from the few crowds waiting outside, the illumination of their phone displays lighting up their faces. After a lengthy pause, Kirk eventually broke the silence by saying, "We know what we need to do." Joc nodded slowly, knowing the club conflict was gone for the time being. However, what happened next?